What's going on, guys? Babs here. Playing a country club tournament, and I believe it is on St. Andrews, and we're going to do a little talk through of St. Andrews just to kind of give some people some ideas of shot strategies, hole strategies, things like that, certain nature. First hole, obviously don't want to go in the water. If you have a headwind, I guess most people do a topspin driver. If you have a tailwind, you can dumb down a driver, or you can hit a punch driver, up to you. This back pin, you want to be careful. It will spin back at times, especially on faster greens, so that's why I choose to hit the flat punch. That way it's less likely to spin back. See how that releases forward, and I would rather it release forward than spin backwards. So we got the left pin here. We're on 13 green, so the idea behind this shot right here is to land the ball 2 or 3 yards short on the hill and let it roll towards the flag, not actually aim for the flag, because if you go for the flag, you might hit it 124 yards, but it'll roll away. So see, I landed at 122, and then it rolls 6 yards. If I were to land at 124 and it rolled 6 yards, then I would have a very long putt coming back. So use the shape of the green to your advantage, especially on faster greens like this. Now on slow greens, there's a high likelihood that ball gets caught on top of the green, so you have to be careful. This hole, fairly straightforward hole. What you want to do is stay out of trouble by not coming up short and not going too far right or too far long on the hole, because those become some pretty treacherous putts. Good start. This next hole, I find that sometimes the yardages can be a little tricky, especially if you guess the wind wrong. This looks like a tailwind, so I'm going to play it as a tailwind. And then it kind of looks like a headwind now, so you sort of have to make a final decision based on how you want the shot to respond. Distance was good, and just needed more aim. I don't know if... That's okay. Not a terrible putt. Good hole, good birdie, good recovery. So we got the front pin here instead of the back pin. This would be a bad wind if you were on the back pin. But since it's the front pin, I usually take off 2 yards, maybe 3 off the initial yardage. So I'll do 185, no elevation. And I'll play it like that just so I can come up short. And if it does release, it'll release around the hole and not extremely past it. There we go. So yeah, still went 2 yards long, but if I'd have played it like normal, it might have been even worse. So those little adjustments you kind of pick up over time as you continue to play these courses and figure out, you know, why don't my numbers work sometimes. Good eagle there. So yeah, if you find that your numbers are a little off, don't try and change the actual numbers of your clubs. Just change the numbers that you're hitting to. You know, take 2 yards off or add 2 yards depending on, you know, experience. Again, these are one of those straightforward holes, not much to consider. This hole can get tricky because of the way the green is sloped. It's sloped front to back, so you have to be careful of that. But in the long run, keep yourself out of trouble. I know there's some instances where, you know, you can get moderate winds, 20-mile-an-hour wind, and people try and cut to the right. See. I'm going to hit a punch just to kind of show you how the green responds on a shot like this. So it may look flat, but the green itself is not flat. So you see that lands 77 yards, 5 yards short, and released 9 yards. And that's simply just because that's the way the green is sloped, even in a headwind. Sure, I could have put some backspin on it, but it's not a terrible putt. Not quite a full tailwind. Slightly off a little. Oh wow. Yeah, not sure. See, like that. That's just one of those WTF shots on the game where you just kind of have to move on. So, looking at the dots in this view, they're on the hill. They're moving pretty quickly. At the beginning, they're moving slower, and at the end, they're moving slower. So I want to know what the average dot is along this path. And again, as it moves uphill, there's going to be less movement. But as it comes back downhill, it's going to break more. So I want to play for that downhill break on the back side of the hill. Okay, so it does move there. There we go. And then it sharps at the end. So you have to find that happy medium about where to aim so you can catch that break at the end. Not enough tailwind to put me in an eagle position. just make a birdie and close out a decent front nine. See if we can't carry this momentum into the back nine. So there are some little gimmicks on the back nine that you kind of have to be careful with. This shot right here, I like to play a choke down wedge shot, simply because you get that 3-4 yards of release, which increases your chances of holding out. If I were to hit a punch shot right there, typically full backspin, it would hit once, maybe twice, and then stop. And the problem with that is that the ball is bouncing on the green, so might not hold out. This hole is sloped back to front, so that's why I'm hitting a half spin iron shot. See, that way the ball sticks and holds. It doesn't spin all the way back down towards the bunker. And then you're left with a 13-foot uphill putt. Whereas this is just a slight little tap in using the slope. So yeah, when you can learn the shapes of the greens of the courses you're on, that way you can adjust your shots accordingly to be able to get the best result. See, I could pitch this, but because it's downhill, tailwind, and fast greens, I don't want to pitch to run away. So in this case, I hit a punch. It bites and holds the green and ends up right next to the hole. This green is sloped front to back and right to left. So this is actually a really good wind for this green because it's a headwind, so it'll hold up, but it's also spinning in the direction that the green is sloped. So and the ball rolls to the left. So that's the kind of wind you want on this green. Let's see, par 5 got next. What kind of wind we're going to get? No. Unfortunately, we got a headwind. If you do get a tailwind on this hole, you can sometimes hit a flat iron shot and basically use the front hill to roll it up onto the green without going over, but you run the risk sometimes, depending on which iron you use, of going through the green and ending up in the brush or the fest. So this is another punch shot simply because it's a headwind, and again, I want the ball to stick. So if you don't use your punch very much, definitely add it to your bag because it is a great shot. And there's some punch charts out there. Joe, Walk of Life, had put his punch chart on YouTube and the forums. So you should be able to find it out there, and it's a very good punch chart to use in those shorter shots. Low battery. This flag is a lot easier than the other flag simply because of the way the green is shaped. Straightforward. Just attack the hole. Headwind here. Usually if you get a tailwind on this hole, you can hit a topspin driver and get an extra 25, 30 yards out of it. But headwind, unfortunately, not the case. But this is a good wind to hit a punch shot from the fairway. So another tool is to map your punch shots from the fairway with full backspin. That will cut through the wind and the flight of the ball is a lot lower. See? And it sticks, releases, ends up right next to the hole, keeps you out of trouble, less likely for the wind to have much effect on the direction of the ball. Headwind's good. Tailwind on this hole is treacherous. Headwind is good on this hole. Actually, I think we're just gonna go ahead and attack this hole right at it. There we go. Typically with this pin right here, you can roll it on the green and it'll feed towards the hole. With the other pin, it's a lot harder depending on the wind direction. And then yeah, this hole you can just hit a topspin driver and get a lot of release out of it. And leave yourself with a fairly capable wedge shot into the green. Maybe give you a chance to hole out. Oh, almost. That's the idea. Always giving you a chance to hole out. Do something more with the shot than just hit it. There we go. 19 under, 53, country club tournament. Good round. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything y'all want to watch or see, and I will see y'all next time. And make sure we collect these achievements. That's it. Alrighty. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.